back to Narrative Pride. So a bit of a personal episode today, and I guess most of them are pretty personal. After all I do is talk about myself. But particularly at the moment, I'm reflecting on and celebrating 6 months of HRT. So it's a big milestone for me. It's a long time coming. I had to delay the start of HRT, but it is really a culmination and a massive step in my journey, particularly reaching 6 months and seeing that progress has been really important. So today, with my little hi Brody, I'm a fan of yours, so he was named Brody. Brody Barry, BB. I'm going to talk about HRT. So, as I said, I was delayed. It was always my intention of starting HRT. It was something that when I came out, I knew that was the right path for me. I've done a lot of research. In Victoria, we're lucky we have doctors who can prescribe under the informed consent model. So quite quickly after coming out, I was able to find a GP, get an appointment, and pretty much be all set to go. The discussion with my doctor, she found it pretty clearly that I knew what I was getting in for. And we still went through the whole document and signed off on it. But, I was informed. I've done a lot of research. I'm a very, over-prepared, somewhat pedantic person, so it wasn't too surprising. But then I was delayed for personal reasons, so I had to keep waiting, which was hard, and definitely the more months that passed, and I was trying to push a lot of my presentation, coming out to more and more groups of people, being myself in different situations, sort of mitigated some of the struggle that I was having mentally, but obviously it was still a huge burden, and it reached a point where it was just getting too hard. At which point, regardless of the reasons that I was holding off, which I might go into on another video, I had to start. And looking back on it 6 months ago, it was so important that I started when I did, and such an unbelievable relief. I remember starting hormones on the 22nd of November. It's my transversary, per se. It was just this sort of release of tension and being able to go that next step, which was really important. Obviously, after one day, no change. It takes time, and probably the first thing I noticed after 4 to 6 weeks, just being the exceptional tiredness of nerfing my testosterone. Goodbye, T. So long. Don't miss you. Definitely missed the energy, particularly at that point, because it takes a little bit longer to kick in. And was really struggling some of those days, and started to have to nap a little bit, but we got through it. The E picked up, energy levels stabilized somewhat, at least for a time. And then, probably about the 2-month mark, starting to notice a few things, getting some of my hair growth. But particularly at that point, the mental change started to really kick in. It was just so powerful. It's very hard to describe. This tension, this incongruence almost dissolved, and I just felt comfortable and amazingly serene. The noise in my head that had been particularly reaching fever pitch before starting HRT, but even before then, was almost non-existent. It was amazing. It was definitely a probably and continues to be the greatest impact of HRT is just that lessening of mental anguish and tension. But it's also not necessarily what you set out for. I'd heard about that sort of comfort. What word do you want to use to describe it from some trans friends? But I was a little bit skeptical. Like, how can it make that much difference? How can you feel that much better about yourself after such a short space of time? Like, surely it can't be that different. So I was skeptical. But lo and behold, that was true. What you set out for, you're looking for bodily change in obviously your body hair distribution, weight distribution. You want to grow those boobs. Definitely. Thankfully, they're growing. A bit bigger, but they're growing. And those changes really start to become a little bit more noticeable around the sort of 2 to 3 month mark. I think I felt budding in just over 2 months. I was a bit surprised that happened so quickly, so I was really skeptical. But then it was like, these are actually really sore and tender. I think it was actually my son kept pushing me and sitting on my chest. It was just like, this really hurts. Like, stop it. Which again was painful but oddly affirming. So, those were the sort of next steps, is those little changes. But I was still feeling really tired at this point, and that was when I had my 3-month checkup. Unfortunately, my T had gone too low, which was really obviously still impacting my energy levels. Tweak the dosage, which is why it is important. Unfortunately, I know particularly for some other trans communities out there, DIY is your only option, your only path, and completely understand and support you guys going down that route, because you've got to do what you've got to do. And like, having been on hormones for 6 months now, there is no force on this earth that will make me stop, because that fate is horrendous. So if you needed to do DIY, you need to do DIY, you do that. But ideally, obviously have that medical support so you can get your levels tested, find out things like your testosterone level is way out of whack. So you can tweak your dosage if I needed to. It was dangerous fatigue. There were a couple of times I was driving, and it's quite concerning and frightening. So particularly tweaking that, now being in this situation where my energy levels are so much better, I can make it through the day, no problem, and I feel like I'm back to having maybe not the same, but similar energy levels. But then, of course, changes keep continuing. Food growth is slow, painfully sometimes, but they have definitely grown from, simply budding 4 months ago. They're noticeable. And definitely feeling that weight redistribution. Got a bigger ass. A couple of my pants are a bit more tighter now. Definitely need to hit the gym and keep hitting those squats, making sure it's nice and toned. But isn't that right, Brody? I hit the gym a bit, yeah. So those changes keep continuing. Like particularly more subtle things, like your face, that distribution in your face and how you look. You don't necessarily recognize yourself, but other people will pick it up. People go, oh, you look different. You can see it in some photos. So make sure you take plenty of photos, because that helps you keep track and get your perspective, particularly when you are feeling things really slow. Definitely has helped me a lot. I remember this was only after being on hormones for about 3 months. I got my school photo from this year, and I compared it to my school photo from last year, and obviously longer hair, different presentation. But the difference I thought for me for a year on, realistically 3 months of hormones was quite drastic and gave me a lot of positive about where I was heading. I'm really looking forward to next year's photo. I'll have all three side by side, and the difference is going to be astronomical. By then, it'll be a year and 3 months on HRT. So, seeing that shift in that 2-year period is going to be really encouraging and inspiring. But I really wanted to highlight a couple of things in this, sharing my story and hopefully giving other people that sense of positivity and hope of, if they are stuck in some sort of delay, what they might be able to achieve and how they can feel different on HRT. But also, reinforce that it does take time. It's not super lightning quick. It is really important to be informed. I said earlier that I did a lot of research. I knew my stuff. That information is really important. Make sure you're looking at good websites, whether that is official transgender support for your area, your country, or just major medical institutions. Obviously, avoid the fear and scaremongering nonsense that's online. Some of those Reddit, Facebook groups can be quite good. You can learn some of the things that aren't necessarily medically documented, but are based on experience. But also just be aware that there are some different characters out there, and sometimes there's a bit of gatekeeping and a bit of negativity about questioning people's experiences. Particularly one I found recently is the conception of trans women having periods. Obviously, we can't bleed, but because we are introducing quite a large dose of estrogen, our levels can go up quite high, and that can cause some of those symptoms. Some trans women never experience those symptoms, so they will sit there and go, "Oh, you're imagining things, can't cause anything." I know from my own experience, having cramps, having really bad headaches in a fairly periodic way the last month or two, it's pretty hard for me to actually say that we can't have period symptoms. We obviously don't have a period, don't menstruate, but we can have PMS, cramping, some of those symptoms that go with having raised estrogen level. That's shit, seriously. But my point in highlighting that is that there will be other members of the trans community that say that's completely rubbish. So that's their experience. This is mine. Hasn't been rubbish. I can tell you that much. But some things you do need to find out on your own and how you respond. Even those sort of things, periods, sore boobs, all of that, they are affirming moments because they are what I've missed growing up and show that I'm becoming the woman that I feel that I am. So they're worth celebrating just as much as the mental change and physical appearance that is coming along. And hopefully going rather well. So I'll see you next time. Remember to like and subscribe.